Hey guys, what is going on? So I am doing a assignment right now, which is one of my mentors asked me to go live, or not go live, to share my story. I decided that I'm going to do it live because when you do a video, you are doing retake after retake, delete over and over again. And I said, you know what? I don't feel like doing all of that. I'm just going to talk right from my heart and just be real with all of it and not delete, edit, and all of that other nonsense. So here we go. I was just thinking about this too, even actually before he asked us to do this assignment. But this January 17th, that's my mom's birthday, who is in heaven. Since January, or this January, it will make 7 years that I have been retired from corporate America, where I walked away. And you know, when you're going about life and on your journey, you're not even realizing like how long things have been until you stop to actually really think about the dates or somebody reminds you about it. And I was just saying to myself, and I was talking to another young lady, and she was like, wow, 7 years you've been retired? I'm like, yep, it has been. It'll be 7 years in January. But anyway, my husband just recently retired not last Friday, but the Friday before last, almost 2 weeks ago. And that has just been awesome and amazing, a blessing. Again, answered prayer. So both he and I are retired. We work from home. And my husband is a law enforcement officer, so he still has his certification. And to maintain it, he just needs to work 8 hours a month volunteer. So he doesn't get paid for that 8 hours a month. And the rest of the month is his, so he can do that in the day, whatever. But anyway, here's our story, because sometimes I titled this, it hasn't always been roses. And right now I am in a blissful state. I am grateful, beyond grateful, but I am nowhere near where we want to be. I'm nowhere arrived in any kind of way, shape, or form. I am not going to arrive until I get on home to heaven. That is my final destination. That is what is everything for me, and that's what I strive for each and every day, is that I, live full and die empty. And so that's my goal, is to live full and die empty. So when I get to heaven, I am 100% empty and ready to receive all of what the next is when I get there. But listen, this is our story. Just so for those of you watching who see us smiling and vacationing and out with the kids and now the dog and all that stuff, and you're like, man, wow, they seem so blessed. They seem so happy. Nothing ever seems so wrong. For the people who say on social media, oh, they only show the highlights of their life, but they never show the down parts of their life and all that other stuff. Let me tell you something. You have to choose, right? What's good in your life. You got to choose what you're going to focus on. And I don't choose to focus on the negative. When I tell you there is a lot going on all around me, right? We have challenges and stuff that go on too, but we don't focus on it, which is why it does not ever get us down. It doesn't get us, so down and depressed and all that other stuff. Because what good is that going to do for us? What good is that going to do for anybody we're connected to? You just find a way to overcome it and you keep on moving. All right. So I'm going to share a little bit about our story. And then tomorrow night at 7 p.m., I'm actually going to be sharing more about my story. So if you come back to my Facebook page, you'll be able to see more about, what we do and all of that stuff. But I'll just share brief parts right now. So let's see. I am originally from New York. I live here in North Carolina now. Been here, actually, it just made 7 years for us in October. Last month we came down this way. My background is in business, went to school, got a degree, went and served in the military for 8 years. And then, was working in corporate world. Always had an entrepreneur spirit, but never knew really all about entrepreneurship because I didn't have really anybody to follow, and in our family. So I just seen some things. I actually had some examples that weren't legal that not that I tapped into, but that I've seen others tap into. And that's kind of where the drive of it came from, is just seeing, the fast life, the fast money that I seen people make. And that was, it seemed exciting, right? And then what they were able to do with that money. So I guess that was my exposure to, owning your own time, owning your own, schedule, having your own money, all of that stuff. So I was intrigued by it. Anyway, went and worked in corporate world, was doing that, could do the job, always could do the job, always excelled in the job, always was recognized and, got recognized and taken on trips and all kind of stuff. But I was never passionate about it. And actually, it never seemed like it was anything exceptional. It was just like, this is what I do. I didn't really see like a big deal about it. But that's when I started to realize that I must have something inside of me that people see that I don't see within myself. And so years went on and it just started to become more evident. People would come up to me, strangers in different, arenas. And that's what opened me up to say, you know what, you need to really tap in and see what this is that's on the inside of you that people are seeing about you that you necessarily don't know or see or think it's of any significance. That's how I got into the coaching world and coaching space. And now he and I are pastors, all of that evolved because of what other people kept seeing and what we were attracting. Anyway, when we, February of 2013, we came down to North Carolina to visit my father-in-law, and we loved the weather. It was like 70 degrees. And so we were like, this is nice down here. We're like in a light sweater, and, in New York, it was freezing cold. And so we just decided to start looking around, just seeing what was out here, what kind of, the infrastructure, the schools system, what kind of jobs. We're just kind of looking around in the short period of time that we were down here visiting. And we started looking at some homes. We just called a random realtor that we found on Google, and they recommended the area where we live. And so we came out here, looked around, didn't really find anything that we loved, but, saw some things. Anyway, I was on my way to a conference in Florida, and my husband was going back home with the children. And so when I'm laser focused on something, that's it. And until I get the result, then I won't stop. So I kept looking, and came upon where we live now. And the woman who's the salesperson at the company, where we own at, she said to me, I'm from upstate as well. I know what you're looking for. And I know what you want. I know what you mean, all of that stuff. And so she said, if I were you, I would look where we're at, where we currently live at now. And so she said, not because I work here and trying to, get a commission or anything. She's like, because I think this is really what you would like. We have open lots and a lot of space, a lot of land. So I just had her send us the stuff via internet, email. And we looked at the land, we looked at, the spots and all of that stuff. And we picked our lot, and we said, this is what we would like. So I shared it with my husband, and so she's like, okay, only thing you need to do is put in the app. We put in the application, and next thing you know, 2 days later, on Valentine's Day, we got pre-approved to start building. And we were like, oh, shoot. Now, before that, it wasn't an impulsive decision. My husband and I, every weekend, we would go vision building in New York, looking for homes, looking for places to buy a house and build. We already was owning our home, but we were like, pretty much on top of our neighbors. Like, we can look out our kitchen window and our neighbor's window was right there. So we were always looking for stuff. We would drive around. We were looking in places that we couldn't even afford, with our income. But we were like, one day we're going to get here. One day we're going to get there. One day we're going to get the size we want. We're going to get what we want. So we had done that for years. So this opportunity came about. We didn't know it was going to be in North Carolina. We just still thought we were going to be in New York. And we had nothing tying us to North Carolina at all. To New York at all. So we both said, you know what, let's go for it. And we did. And here we are, fast forward, we're here in North Carolina. That house got built. We were closing our house on October of 2013, and we moved in literally we moved in the day of closing, but my husband was already here because he had gotten recruited for the police department. So he was living here 3 months before we even got down here. Anyway, make a long story short, so I could fast forward. I just like to give people the backstory so you kind of know what was going on. So 3 months, I was living in New York by myself with the children, still taking them back and forth to school and daycare, me going to work. But when you're determined and you're excited about something, you don't care about the other person not being home. You don't care about the help that you don't have. A made-up mind is a made-up mind. And so that was it for us. We were like, who's been moving? And I was there getting rid of furniture, selling furniture. Late nights, I would have my sister and my dad come over, and they would sit with me while random people come to my house looking at furniture so we can get everything out. We wanted to buy stuff brand new when we moved here. moved down, and after being here for 3 months in January, the Lord woke me up literally on my mother's birthday, January 17th. Now, mind you, my mother had passed away in 2003, so it wasn't like, I was thinking about her the night before or anything like that. None of that. Like, those phases of my life of really missing her, I always miss her, but where I get emotional around her birthday time had already passed. So like the year before that, I wasn't getting emotional or nothing. So it wasn't any of that. It was just the Lord woke me up on that day, but he speaks to me in ways that where it's always around significant times, right? So woke me up crying profusely, couldn't stop crying, didn't even know why I was crying, but I was just crying. And he said, it's time for you to jump. And I'm like, huh? He's like, it's time for you to walk away. And I was like, oh my God, I got to walk away from my job. It's time for me to go. And I knew that I had to do it because my job at that time, they were getting ready to send me overseas to start doing, meeting with our clients face to face, where we were meeting with clients online. I was going to be in Europe. We just moved here. We don't know anyone. Where are we going to leave our kid? It just wasn't even advantageous. So everything was closing down in that time frame. And the Lord just validated by telling me to walk away. And so I woke my husband up and told him what happened. And he was like, babe, what are you talking about? I have not heard the Lord tell me any of this. It's early in the morning. You crying. What's going on? I was like, I have to. And 2 weeks from that day, I was flying out to Europe. Like, my ticket was already booked. My hotel was already booked. Everything was done. The job had me all set up. And, I've been working since 13. So definitely not scared of working. Wasn't trying to shy away from that. I'm making a 6-figure income at my job. So it's not like I'm, making a few dollars where I ain't doing anything. No. My income was a big chunk of our household income. And so, my husband's like, okay, well, he really wasn't on board, honestly. But I said, babe, I got to give my notice today. Because if I don't give my notice today, then, I can risk, one, messing things up. We don't have nobody to watch our kids, nothing. I want them to be able to cancel that ticket if they can, to maybe put it in somebody else's name or get their money back or whatever. So I didn't want, my job was really good to me, so I didn't want to, stiff them. Plus, I had gotten a $20,000 increase in my salary, okay, before I even came down here. And they allowed me to work from home, and I didn't have to go into a building. So when I tell you my setup was sweet, I had all my equipment, everything. They gave me a cell phone, everything I needed. I was straight. So when I tell you it didn't make sense, it did not make sense. I did it, and I just thought my coaching, business practice was going to explode, and things was going to be fine, and we're going to exceed that 6-figure income that I was making, and we're going to live happily ever after. Well, that didn't happen. It didn't happen for 5 years, guys. 5 years of not having that income that I had from work coming into our household. We literally went from 6 figures to zero on my side, which made my husband have to work 120 hours more on top of his regular shift. Listen, 5 years of him working 260 hours a month. And how we know that for sure is because that was the max amount of extra hours that he could work from his job. So he always maxed it out. Sometimes he would max it out before the month was over. And we still sometimes didn't have enough. So it was crazy. I mean, he was barely sleeping. And when he was sleeping, he would wake up just discombobulated, shakes. Kids were sad. I was sad. It was just, it wasn't a good time. It was very tough. I almost thought about going back to work, right? Because those doubts start getting in your mind and the fear and all of that stuff. And I said, I'm just going to stay the course. And there's people like Eric Worre's and Les Browns and Tony Robbins and, Zig Ziglars, and I always say Will Smiths and Kevin Hart's, all those people who share their story and who talked about, when they were in their downtime. And I'm so grateful for that, because if it wasn't for them sharing their story, if it wasn't me continue to stay, strong and staying in my word and just continuing to trust God through the process, I would be right back in the job, unhappy, but comfortable, right? And, success don't lie in your comfort zone. So we definitely wasn't having success. We were on, how did it say, just enough for you to, take care of your main, some of your bills or, majority of your bills, but not enough for you to get ahead. And that's kind of where we were at. We were making some money, but nothing significant, nothing to give us the freedom. You're on time constraints. You only have a few weeks that you can, have for vacation time and all of that stuff. So definitely wasn't my idea. And it's hard for me. I can't be limited. I cannot have somebody limiting my creativity because of their, perspective or their view or their mission. If I don't agree with it, or if it's not what I want to do, I want to be able to have options to have that type of freedom. And I just wasn't getting that at the job. So 5 years, guys, 5 years, we went to a very hard time in our life, very, very hard time, where we were on social services for a short period of time. And actually, when I clean out, we're getting our house painted in a few weeks. And when I clean out my drawer, I'm going to pull some stuff out. And I saved it specifically because I said, you know what, people are probably not going to believe us if we say some of the things that we went through. And I kept those things because I said, Lord, I know this is for something else. I know this is not just for us to go through it. I know it's going to be for somebody else later. I'm going to keep this stuff as little mementos and just stepping stones to remind us of where we came from. So I'm going to pull it out in a few weeks and I'll show y'all, some of the things that we went through. But was on social services for a short period of time. I'm grateful. I was looking forward to the day we got off. But in that time, it seemed like we couldn't get off of it soon enough, fast enough. And I'm like, I need to get off of this. It was killing me that we were on it, but it was killing me because my perception of what I thought people on social services meant or was totally off and wrong. It's one thing to hear and see people on social services. It's another thing to be on it yourself. You have a totally different view and definitely a totally different level of appreciation. And that was it for us, is that it humbled us in such a way that it made us realize, how you have to view situations. Everybody is a case by case, and you never know. You never know when, you may be in that situation that you're shunning somebody else about, or you're turning your nose up to somebody else about. So you better hope and pray to God that you never have to be in a position where now you need support and you need help. Right. And so I'm grateful that we never treated people bad or anything like that in that way. But again, still internally, what's inside of your heart will start to come out. So we had a huge check, right, on that piece, meaning we got a checkup in our spirit about that. And it changed everything. And then when it was time for us to move off of it, we had so much appreciation for the time and what we learned, and now what we were able to pour into others. So that was that period of our life. Our son was born at that time. I was actually in divinity school working on my master's in divinity at Campbell, and we got pregnant. And so when it was time for me to go back, I couldn't because I was on maternity leave, and then I just didn't have a desire to go back. I felt like even in that period, I'm going to share something later about what happened to me in that period, because something else very significant that I think that definitely needs to be another topic that we want to talk about, because it's actually very significant. And I have some paperwork to show you guys in case y'all don't believe what I'm going to tell you. I'll do that on another live. So from there, we continue pressing forward. My husband was still working the hours, but we were just making it work. We were, just focusing on my business, just getting that going, and my coaching clients going. So that was developing, but again, just wasn't paying us the 6 figures. Then we got reintroduced back into the network marketing space. Now my husband and I met in 2006 in network marketing. And we started dating in 2007, and we got married in 2008. So we have been, around the industry for a long time, but we just tapped out of it for 10 years. 10 years we tapped out of the industry because my husband got hurt by somebody in the industry that he, looked up to. And he just was turned off. And of course, being a supportive spouse, I said, okay, well, they mess with my husband, they mess with me. And we walked away and was back working. Never, ever, ever stopped loving the industry. Loved it. So when it got introduced to us again in 2016, that fire that I had about it back then came back alive again. And I was like, oh my gosh. Still love, the services and stuff that the company, or the products, I should say, that the company offers that we were part of. But it wasn't the one for us to be long lasting and building in. It actually was the one probably to fire us back up again and give us some level of strategy and structure and all of that to prepare us for where we are now. And so in 2018, a gentleman reached out to me on LinkedIn asked me to take a look at something that, can empower people. And I said yes. Looked at the information, blew me away. And I said, oh my gosh, babe, if this thing is real, it's going to change everything. Because in that 5-year time frame, my husband and I jacked our stuff up. Now, we built a home. And so we had to have money in the bank and down payment, and our credit had to be in good shape. And we messed all of it up in those years that we were in that downtime. So when this company came to us, we said, oh yeah, we need the services. Later for everything else. I mean, I saw the opportunity right away, but I knew we definitely needed services. And if there was anybody out there like us who went through similar things or has, similar situations going on with their stuff, then they were going to need it too. So we jumped all in. We jumped in, plugged in to everything, started changing everything about, our stuff, our financial life. But also we started to share it with other people as well. And you know what? I say this part because actually for 90 days, we didn't have nobody join us in this business or as a customer. So for whatever reason, people we were connected to, maybe they looked at us like, oh, they're into something else again, or, oh, I thought they were doing that other company. Now they're not doing that no more. Oh, I thought she had a business. She's not doing her business. Oh, I thought they were, doing their ministry. They're not ministry. Oh, I thought they were, whatever they thought. Oh, I thought he was in law enforcement, or whatever people think about when they see somebody introduce something to them. That is what was in their mind. So they didn't sign up with us. And it was okay because we were in profit mode before we even had our first customer or business partner. So it was like, well, where are we going, right? 91st day is when the first person joined us as a customer. Then after that, it was a business partner. Then after that, it was another business partner. And they just kept coming and coming and coming and coming and coming and rolling and rolling and rolling. And next thing we look up and the organization is growing like crazy. People are having different levels of success, and just the energy was good, the synergy, training and learning and just getting a schedule going and all of that stuff. And so that's what's been happening for the past 2 years. Now, we've been a part of the company for 2 years, and here we are just a week and a half ago, my husband was able to retire from his job, right, as a law enforcement detective, working 120 hours on top of his regular how many hours he was working a month? For 160 hours, his regular shift, and then he was working 120 on that. So that's 280 hours a month. Going from working to that now down to only volunteering 8 hours a month is absolutely amazing. And this happened for him in 7 years of being on the force, but 2 years for us being in this industry of network marketing. So when I tell you, for all those people who think the industry is, whatever, it's the best, one of the best places where you get not just income, where you make income, but you meet great friendships, great relationships. You develop within yourself. Right? You can leave, a mindset of where you're stretching your family, you're stretching yourself. I mean, there's so much that comes out of this industry. And then for doing all of that, then your income just starts to pour in because you start attracting people who want those type of things as well for their own lives, but also who need what you are offering. So it's a win-win situation. So you just become the better version of yourself each and every day. So just imagine what that looks like. Imagine who you are now. And if you like who you are now, just think about being better and better and better each and every day, because in our profession, that's what we do. We talk about becoming better and helping other people to become better, which brings you so much joy. You can't walk away from that. You can walk away from working at a McDonald's. You can walk away from working at a Walgreens or whatever. You can walk away from things like that. And some people love that too. So whatever you love, great. But people they don't feel like they're giving much value in jobs that are more just kind of transactional and, people just coming in and out. But when you get to be an impact in somebody's life each and every day, and the impact people they know and connected to, and then you watch their children grow up and be able to be an impact in their lives, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. So I tell people we have not arrived. It hasn't always been roses. As a matter of fact, we are just beginning. We are just getting started. So I'm excited now that we have this freedom. I'm excited that, I get to focus in my lane. My husband gets to focus in what he is great at. And we can work together. And where he's not great at, I am, and where I'm not great at, he is, and we can tag team, and then our children are watching along the way, and we can continue to pour into them and just own our own time versus having somebody else dictate, our time. So that is our story in a nutshell. I probably went longer than what I was supposed to, but I wanted to get that out. And again, I did it on live, so I don't have to be doing a 50,000 retakes because maybe I said the word, I was stumbling my words or whatever. You know how it is when you record. So I just love, the live version because you just do it in one shot, and it is what it is. You like it, love it, leave it, your choice, right? So love you guys. Thank y'all so much for who was watching in and tuning in and listening. And I'm going to be sharing some more stuff later. I'm going to show you some of those things that I was talking about because I kept those mementos just to show and to encourage others. All right, gotta go. Talk to you guys and gals later. Have a great day. God bless. Bye-bye. Oh, people. Hey, Melvina, Wycliffe. Hey, Judy, Sheila, David. What's going on? Eddie. I know, right? I just told him transfer to Eddie's name. Hey, Lefty. Thanks for the love on my other video, on my TikTok, my first TikTok. I did my first TikTok, y'all. Patricia, hey, Mickey, hello. Uh-oh, my thing is getting ready to... Right, exactly, Patricia. That's what they be saying, like, oh boy, here she go. Hey, babe. That's funny. Thank you, Lefty. Appreciate it. All right, talk to you later. Bye.